At your desk, you will notice a game packet. Inside your game packet, you have these pieces. This is your game board. On your game board, I want you to notice certain pieces. First, you have a tree, and it's labeled vegetation. Next, you have, down at the bottom of the tree, bacteria and fungi. You have an animal, and beneath the animal it says litter and waste. Above the animal and the tree, you have the atmosphere, which is represented by the clouds. You have industry and vehicles, underneath which you have fossil fuels, and to the far right you have oceans. Down at the bottom, you see the names of each of the stack of cards that you will have. Vegetation, atmosphere, bacteria and fungi, litter and waste, fossil fuels, industry and vehicles, animals, and ocean. Also on your game board, you will notice that there are arrows that show the direction that you must move, and small spaces to show the amount of spaces you can move. And on some of the small spaces, you will see words. For example, this space says that if you land here, you can move forward 5 additional spaces. If you land here, you can roll again. In addition to your game board, you will have a bag that has additional pieces. Place your game board bag inside the desk. Inside this bag, we have a die, and we have all of our cards. I'm going to lay our cards out beside of our game board. I have vegetation and atmosphere, bacteria and fungi, litter and waste. I have fossil fuels, industry and vehicles, animals, and oceans. Also inside the bag, I have game pieces. Each person in your group will choose a game piece. Right now, you and I are going to play a make-believe game so that you can see how this game works. I'm going to choose blue for you because blue is my favorite color and you're my favorite. I'm going to choose green for me because green is my second favorite color. The rest of the unused game pieces I will place back in the bag and place it inside the desk for right now. First, we will roll to see who gets to move first. I'm going to roll for you first. You only got a 2. Now my turn. I got a 4, which means I go first. I'm going to roll the dice after I begin the game. So in this game, everyone is going to start at vegetation. If you will reach inside your desk, you will notice that there is a handout. This handout has 2 pages. We are only going to be concerned about the first page right now. The first page says the Carbon Cycle Game Worksheet. If you will notice, the very first square says Station 1, Pool Vegetation. Everyone is going to start in the vegetation pool. So your game piece will be right here on the tree where it says vegetation. On this worksheet, it also says beginning form, and there's a blank, process, and there's a blank, and end form, and there's a blank. This information we will get from the card. Since I get to go first, I will draw the first card. I'm going to draw a card from the ones marked vegetation because that's where I'm currently at on the game board. My card says, you are carbon that has been released by burning the plant. Go to the atmosphere as CO2 or carbon dioxide. Beginning form, carbohydrate. Process, combustion. End form, CO2. On my handout for my turn, I'm going to mark that my beginning form was a carbohydrate. The process was combustion because the plant caught fire. The N form was CO2, or what we refer to as carbon dioxide. So my paper now is complete with my very first station. I will return my card to the bottom of the vegetation stack, and since it said that I am going to the atmosphere, I may now roll the die to see how many spaces I may move toward the atmosphere. I got a 2. I need to find the place on the board where the arrows are going to the atmosphere, not away from the atmosphere. These arrows are going to the atmosphere, so I will move my game piece from vegetation 2 places, 1, 2, and I will leave my game piece on space number 2. Now it's your turn. You also have started in vegetation, so you will draw a card. Your card says, you are carbon in the form of sugars given off by the roots to feed bacteria and fungi to provide nutrients. Go to the bacteria and fungi pool. On your paper that you pull from the desk, you will have your beginning form will be carbohydrates, just like mine, but your process is now consumption, because where carbon was burned during my turn, this time it is being eaten by bacteria and fungi. So the word is consumption because they are consuming you. The N form will be organic matter, and that is what you will write on your paper. Next, you will roll the die to see how many spaces you get to move toward bacteria and fungi. I'll roll for you. You got 4. So you're going to find the arrows that show movement from vegetation toward bacteria and fungi. When I look at the roots of the tree, I see an arrow going this direction. So you will move 4 spaces from the vegetation toward the bacteria and fungi. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you will remain in that spot. Now, it is my turn again, but if you recall, I did not move my piece all the way into the atmosphere. I'm only partially there, so I cannot draw another card just yet. I need to roll the die. I got 4. Let's see if I make it to the atmosphere. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm still not in the atmosphere. So now it is your turn again. On your turn, let's see, you got a 6. I think 6 is going to be too many spaces because you must stop at the very next pool, which is bacteria and fungi. So you're going to only get to move 1, 2, 3, 4 of your 6 spaces because you must stop here on bacteria and fungi. Now you can draw a card. Your card says, you are carbon in the body of bacteria and fungi. You continue to grow. You remain in the bacteria and fungi pool, and you lose a turn. So now you will take out your game worksheet, and in your second station, your pool was the bacteria and fungi pool, so you will write that in. Your beginning form is organic matter, your process is growth, and your end form is organic matter because you stayed right where you were and you did not change forms. Now it's my turn. Let's see if I finally make it to the atmosphere. I have a 4. 1, 2, 3. So I do not use all of my 4 steps. I am finally in the atmosphere, and I'll draw a card. You are carbon in the form of CO2, and you enter the ocean. Go to the ocean pool. Your beginning form is carbon dioxide, your process is chemical form change, and your end form is biocarbonate. So now I am going to be moving toward the ocean The ocean is all the way over here. So I need to find a path that will take me from where I currently am in the atmosphere all the way over to the ocean. I can't jump spaces. So it looks like to get to the ocean, I am going to have to move over to this atmosphere, still in the atmosphere, so that I can take this path toward the ocean. So I can't jump down to the animal, I can't go back to vegetation. I must stay right here in the atmosphere over at this cloud because this is my only way down to the ocean. I'll take back out my sheet and I'll put that my second pool was the atmosphere and that my beginning form was CO2. I had a process of a chemical form change and my end form was biocarbonate. So the third place I'm headed toward is the ocean. But I have to roll my dice to see how many places I can get. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm not to the ocean yet. It would be your turn again. We would continue taking turns until someone finally gets back to vegetation. The first person to make it back to this tree wins. You will be playing with a group of 3 to 4 other people. You will need to play very quietly so that I can still teach math in the front of the class. When it is your turn, I need for you to read the card out loud to those in your group. Everyone will wait until you have completely read the card, marked your game sheet, rolled the die, and moved your piece before the next player takes their turn. When it is your turn, you will read out loud. When it is another player's turn, I want you to listen to what the card is saying. This is a way that you can learn the carbon cycle. Remember, on your test, you are going to need to be able to label the parts of the carbon cycle so that you can trace the movement of carbon all the way through the atmosphere, through vegetation, through the animals, through the soil. You need to be able to trace carbon all the way through. So pay close attention to how you get from one place to another during this game. When it is time to finish the game, I will let you know and you will put all of the pieces back where they belong. You will make sure that you have paper clipped the cards that go together back together. And you will put everything back in the baggie, which it belongs, and then you will put the baggie and the game board in the large bag. When I call time, I will come up to where you are and I will explain to you how to do the second sheet. Try very hard to complete all 10 stations, but I know that not everyone will get to the 10th station before I come to see you. If you somehow manage to finish this game earlier than I come to you, I would like for you to just play again. Have fun and learn a lot about the carbon cycle.